morning and welcome to The Point. It is Monday, July 13th, 2020. Thank you to those of you joining us on the GBN Television Facebook page, the Grenada Broadcasting Network's YouTube channel, the website www.gbn.gd, those of you watching on GBN TV channel 7, 11 and 20, and the folks always listening to Classic 105.5, 105.9, Hot 98.5 and 98.7. This morning we are opening the phone lines. It's open phone line here on the program where we give you the opportunity to share your thoughts, comments, questions, queries, concerns on various topics that you would like to share with us. This morning we started a conversation. You can continue if you so choose. There are some comments on the WhatsApp that I will get to in a short. But anything else that you'd like to share and weigh in on this morning, this is a chance to do so. Call us on the landline 435-2041. You can also contact us on the WhatsApp. It's also 435-2041. But please, only written messages on the WhatsApp, only numbers and letters, no voice or video calls, voice notes, YouTube links, pictures, videos, nothing, only written messages on the WhatsApp. You can also weigh in, you can also participate on the GBN Television Facebook page and the Grenada Broadcasting Network's YouTube channel. Let's go to our first caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
And how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad. How was the weekend?
It was quiet.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, this morning I was speaking about the crimes and things. But I was doing something.
No problem. Go ahead.
We need to have the gallows back.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Short and straight to the point. Thank you very much. For those of you who are just joining us and did not get the program this morning, did not catch the program this morning, on Mouth Off Monday on Good Morning Grenada, we looked at the lifting of the curfew. Since the lifting of the curfew last Tuesday, the first weekend of 24-hour freedom, there was a fatal chopping incident in St. David on Friday night, another fatal chopping incident in St. Andrew on Saturday night. Then on Sunday, there were, from reports that I've been getting, there were various fetes and parties and in various communities, including Bathway, in the south of the island. I believe somebody mentioned Woodlands. Somebody mentioned there was activity in River Sally in St. Patrick. So the question was, do you think the curfew should be reinstated because of the, should I say, illicit activities that have happened over the weekend? Or do you think that the sins of a few should not influence the repercussions or should not mean repercussions for the many? Weigh in and share your thoughts. You can share on the GBN Television Facebook page, YouTube, the landline, and WhatsApp. Let's go back to the phone lines. Good morning.
Morning, Blossom. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
All right, go ahead.
I did not get in on your earlier program on the curfew.
No problem. You can share now.
I'd like to say, basically, I believe the curfew, we could stay as it is. It's just our people have to understand the situation. And I believe because we have not really had any serious incidents as it relates to COVID-19, that's why some of our people are behaving that way. It is sad to see what has happened in Bathway. I couldn't believe because no social distance, none of the protocols were observed. And I thought that the RGPF could have moved in and eventually stopped this kind of a reveling. I will say reveling. Because everybody broke the 20 persons per gathering. And of course, there were no masks, no social distancing. So it tells me that we are encouraging lawlessness. Because if you look at other countries, and we can look at even Jamaica, Barbados, where they had the lockdown and how they treated the people. We have not gone that way. We had serious accidents during the curfew time. Another driver, I don't think, because it wasn't reported on the news, were actually charged for being outside without a reasonable excuse that caused accident. So it tells me that we have to enforce the law. So going with the curfew, it only means that those of us who probably will like to be outside by 10 o'clock, we're back in restrictions. I don't have a problem because right now, I've been out and I try to come in at a certain time. And I think this is the way that we should go as a people. I am saying let our people have their freedom, but let us stick to what is in the stipulations of the law. And people must be brought to justice when they break the law. I think that is it. We just need to start to let people have confidence in the justice system, even as it relates to their mother. The reason why I believe some people figure they can take people's life is because the justice system is failing us. Our magistrates and our judges, they are not given enough penalty. So they figure the best thing to do before you have any altercation is to ram some weapon in somebody, and they go up to Richmond Hill, the taxpayers are feeding them. So I think this is the way to go. I will say keep the curfew, leave the curfew as it is, the freedom as it is, and just let the RGPF do what they have to do, without favor and without malice. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. What do you think? Keep the curfew in? No. Reinstate the curfew, or the sins of a few should not mean repercussions for the many? Let's go back to the phone lines before I get to the social media. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, ma'am.
Morning. Go ahead.
Yeah, I tend to support the last caller there. I don't think we should just stick up with the curfew, but I think the law should take its course. People have to learn to behave and learn to respect the law. And if the law say that you should do something, it should be. The police have to be more stringent in their effort. But I don't think taking up the curfew is going to answer the question. All of us like freedom, but there comes a time when you have to obey the law. And if we can't obey the law, it means that the country will be lawless. And if the persons that put in the law cannot see that people maintain the law, then it means that they are no use. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you for your participation. Let me see if there's anything on YouTube, Facebook, WhatsApp. Good morning. Close down. They're too disrespectful to others' health. Curfew don't stop them bad boys from killing. Somebody on WhatsApp says, at the time of the party, where was Mr. Gale and his squad to disperse the fete at Bathway? Mr. Gale? Somebody else on WhatsApp says, please, we want the curfew, especially in Mirabel St. Andrew. Back to the phone line. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
I just want to thank you so much for the beautiful music that you played.
Thank you very much. Glad you appreciate it.
Living on your own is not nice. And to hear this beautiful, you hear everybody. It was so beautiful. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
You're welcome. Thank you for listening.
Thanks a bunch. Calling from Carriacou.
Oh, thank you very much. Big up your sister Isles.
Bye-bye, darling.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I know people like the music this morning. Some Tammy Wynette and Loretta Lynn, some Jim Reeves. It was a nice mellow vibes. Thank you very much, caller. Let's go back to the phone line. Good morning.
Good morning, Blossom.
Morning.
I don't like how they treat the market vendors. I think the market vendors is dogs.
Okay, so why you say dogs?
Because they could have told them before. Give them like a month notice first. And then close it down.
Okay. Good. Thank you very much. Thanks. Caller, I agree with you. Today for tomorrow, please a lot. It's not sitting right on my chest either, personally. I just find, give me a little notice so I could fix up myself, so I could adjust accordingly. COVID was already a hit. Today for tomorrow, please a lot. Don't do me the same thing when you could have avoided it. So, caller, I agree with you. Let me read this WhatsApper, and then I'll go back to the phone lines. The police caused all the problems with the influx on Bathway. Listen to the police press conference when Superintendent Cohen said the beaches are open with no restrictions, when he should have said no time restrictions, but the protocols must be maintained. Also, Superintendent Cohen is saying that people should not wear masks under their chin, but he is seen in Guava with his mask under his chin. Reading and spelling for Grenadians, for people, for adults. I mean, saying that with no restrictions, to me, that's okay. You know what? Leave no room for ambiguity. Fair enough. Just go into specific details. The mask was on his chin because he was speaking to people. But okay, you know what? Let me go back to the phone line. Good morning.
Morning, sister. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good, thank you.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm calling to see if there is no COVID in Grenada, why is it that people can recreate? I don't have a problem with that because there is no COVID in Grenada. When they open up the borders, then you let people go back to the restrictions. Even at present now, I don't see why people should be wearing masks if there is no no COVID in Grenada, COVID cases in Grenada at present. The borders are closed. Why they don't let people get a breather? Because using the mask is dangerous to your health. So whether COVID come or you're using the mask, you're going to die anyway of any little thing that affects you. So I think we should let people get a little breather, and when they open up the borders, they ask people to go back to the restrictions. And really and truly, I think the problem in Grenada is that there is nothing to enhance the life of people, especially young people in Grenada today. So they fall apart. I think they have lost every sense of the worth of life. That is why they are killing and doing anything, because there is no positive direction to lead them. And generally, the people talking about enforce the law. The people at the top, they're committing the biggest crimes. The law is not enforced against them. But the small man and the small people supporting enforcing the law against the small man. Why don't they stand up and see that the law is enforced against everybody who do what is wrong, who commits the crimes in Grenada? Generally, then people would have respect. The young people are looking at what's going on in Grenada, you know. They're looking at all those crime, these big crime ministers and them, who doing all the wrong things in Grenada and getting away with it. So they feel they could do it too. Right now, children have no regard for life because parents have not grown them to know God, to have a conscience, to pray to whatever it is. So we are losing ourselves, and Grenada has become a very lawless state. Have a blessed day.
Thank you very much, caller. That question of, since Grenada has been determined to be COVID-19 free, why we still have the protocols in place, this is how I look at it. Up to, let me make sure I have the date correct, up to June 18th, that was the day they announced that Grenada had 0 total active cases of the 23 that were confirmed. According to the Ministry of Health, they have conducted 853 tests PCR tests up to June 18th. 853 people. Some of them are repeated tests to see if you still have it or if the rapid test was correct or so. So 853 people, to me, is just a drop in the bucket of 110,000 people. The data that they have are for the people who have been tested. But at one point, the Minister of Health noted that there are people who are walking around with symptoms and have not been tested, and there are asymptomatic carriers who have not been tested. So while of the 853 PCR tests done, there are no active cases, we still don't know. There are people, one, either they are asymptomatic, so they don't know they need to be tested, or two, they have symptoms, but they're frightened to get tested. So there are people who may be walking around with the virus that we just don't know. They've always stated that these are medically tested or medically cleared. But there are 853 tests. I don't know if they've done more within the last month since that data was released, but 853 out of 110,000 is a drop in the bucket. So I prefer to be safe than sorry. Yes, I understand what you're saying, but give me a little free up before we open MBIA on Wednesday, please Lord, which is in 2 days. But at the same time, I prefer be safe than sorry. So I'll be wearing my mask until further notice, and not going in battery until further notice. But that's me. That's how I see it. Let me go to this. Yes, let me go to the social media in the meantime. Nothing on Facebook. Not Facebook, YouTube. Let me see what's on Facebook. Somebody on Facebook says, crimes happen even during curfew. They will enter your home while you are sleeping as people retire earlier. Somebody else on Facebook says, there is no COVID in Grenada, but COVID-19 is still there. Don't be confused, please. Somebody else says, no to the reinstating of curfew. However, the police should develop new strategies in dealing with the situations during this pandemic. Let me go to the WhatsApp. Somebody on WhatsApp says, I am neither here nor there with the curfew. With or without it, what our country needs is good discipline, education, and strong leadership. We need to understand that the coronavirus could be right here. We still have people displaying symptoms who refuse to seek medical attention. Could they be displaying symptoms of COVID? There are protocols to follow to prevent community spread, and we all owe it to ourselves and others to keep our country safe. Thank you very much, writer. You've written what I was thinking. You've wrote. The curfew was lifted. Somebody else on WhatsApp. The curfew was lifted because it will be unfair to other places when Guav people behave like there was never a curfew. That's why the curfew was lifted? Well, I beg to differ. Somebody says, I overheard the thing? I overheard the thing would be bigger next week. What would be bigger next week? Somebody else on WhatsApp. There is no correlation between the incidents and the lifting of curfew. There is need for self-discipline. Can you have more talk programs like this on mornings? I will try my best. They will allow for greater conversations and hopefully more ideas for dealing with issues. I try my best to facilitate as much as I can. Let's go back to the phone lines. Yes or no to reinstating the curfew following a busy weekend here in Grenada. Good morning.
Yes, Citizen Welsh, I beg your indulgences once more, please.
Sure, Citizen Rollo.
Earlier in the game, I made mention of a couple of points there. But seemingly, in the discussion, I must indeed commend the brothers and sisters and the views that I'm hearing coming in there this morning. Quite commendable on both sides of the argument. But some people seem to believe that it was the curfew, in other words, that those intervals of restriction of movement, and because of its lifting, that has been this increase in violence. No, that's not the case. People kill in the day, they kill in the night, they kill whenever, whether there's a curfew or not. Has not to do. That has to do with other social aspects of our society. Citizens Welsh Grenadians, this is a very serious balancing act that the people of this. Can I say the people because it also involves the so-called government. Very serious balancing act. We have a case here where we have to refer seriously to the health of a nation, both physical and mental, versus the wealth of a nation where the economy comes in. People have to circulate. A huge number of our people in this here country, Citizen Welsh, lives on a day-to-day wage. In other words, hand to mouth, quote unquote. Who can do that? So people have to survive. Some people go out and make up $50 every day so they can pay bus and feed their children. If they don't, they will starve. We all know that. But what's the worst in having wealth and no health? And when I refer to health, I'm talking about no life. And what's the point in having life and you have no wealth or you don't have money to survive? So this is what creates that thin line, Citizens Welsh, which we have to measure well. So far, we've done fairly fine. But let us not get away from the factors I rounded up here. COVID-19, let's call it in its full name, COVID-19 entered Grenada. It is here. And as long as it is in any other country of the world, it is in the world. It is here. We have heard of the cases. Minister Quarantine have told us from time to time about the cases that are, let's use it as it is pronounced, so asymptomatic, meaning that you would have the virus, but you do not show any signs of it. It's possible. Citizen Welsh only this morning the news said that the so-called immunity that was one time believed to defend people permanently from the virus sometimes lasts 2 to 3 months. It is possible, therefore, that there can be reoccurrences. So amongst us, it is highly likely, therefore, and we underline that word, or that expression, highly likely that the virus is with us. So we have to do all that is possible to mitigate its reoccurrence. How do we do that? We have to maintain the hygiene, washing of our hands permanently. Not touching surfaces as frequent. Why don't I go out? I don't because I have to touch surfaces. We have to take in front. I stay inside. In my case, particular one, of course. Physical distancing. And there's another one, the wearing of the nasal and buccal covering. Note I refuse to say mask anymore because masking is really to disguise. But that is beside the point. Citizen Welsh, why can't we do that? And why can't we talk about freedom? Very essential point, an important point made the brother couple. Give the people the freedom clearly, but freedom to many of us means licentious, lewd, and otherwise type of behavior. So, if we had to pay to learn, let us pay. We're not, the hope of the government, I'm certain, is not to deprive people of their fundamental rights, but it has to be enforced because the lives of the people are endangered. The national population, lives of the national population are endangered as long as there is one risk. This is why there's a term called mitigation of risk. We have to do that. And the risks that we take have to be measured.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Citizen Welsh. You have a nice day. Will you?
Thank you very much, Citizen Rollo. You enjoy your day as well. I like when he says, will you? Let me see what is on the social media. Somebody on WhatsApp says, yes, because I live at Mount Hartman and it have a little shop open there and the young people have no respect. Music play right through the night. That's really disgusting. Which part of Mount Hartman? You see, when I'm inside, I doesn't know what's going on outside. Which part of Mount Hartman, dear? When I'm inside my home, rain, thunder, lightning, storm outside, and I barely know. Somebody else on WhatsApp says, we loved our doctors and nurses during COVID-19. Today, police officers and the wider population are showing they don't care, not even for their own parents, let alone the ones who fought COVID. It's very sad to say the least. The laws must be enforced. Bring back the curfew, lockdown if they feel they can do as they please. Also, last week, a police officer pushed a Rasta man off his bike. So what is really going on? Let me go to the phone lines. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
I'm stressing and saying again. The curfew has nothing to do with behavior pattern. The people have to discipline themselves. And what the police officers need to do, many a time they really lapse in their lawful conduct. They goes out there, see people do things. I don't know if it's some favor or what they have for certain people. They leave them to break law and get away with it. So people think they could continue doing that. It is some favorable thing. No, they're supposed not to have favor. Ill will have favor. Press the measure. That's what they have to do. Enforce the measure of law upon the people who practice it and grant them the penalties stiff. That is what has to happen. The curfew has nothing to do with it. We need our freedom. The time has come. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. On that note, let us take a break and then we're going to come back and continue the discussion. It's open line here on To The Point. Stick and stay. This is GBN Classic Hot 98. We'll be right back.
That's not how you cross the pedestrian crossing.
Really? One day I just woke up and I saw pedestrian crosswalks on the road. No one really showed me how to use them properly.
Well, this is how it's done. You never cross before doing these things. They might save your life. First, when you get to the crosswalk, you stop. You look left, you look right. If there's a vehicle coming, you put your hand out, making eye contact with the driver, indicating that you want to cross. And only when the vehicle comes to a complete stop, you quickly cross to the other side.
Stop, look, hand out, eye contact. Wait for pedestrian to cross to the other side, then you happily continue on your journey. This message is brought to you by this group of insurance companies, the Traffic Advisory Body, and the Traffic Department.
Going beyond the ordinary. Examining the stories beyond what meets the eyes. GBN gets to the meat of the matter. Join us on GBN Television, Classic Radio, gbn.gd, or on Facebook via your smartphones and other devices. We take you beyond the headlines every Monday night at 8:30 p.m. We are GBN, rated number 1.
Let's Cook Grenada, a practical culinary guide to local cuisine. Learn new ways to prepare your favorite foods or try different menus from various locations across the island. Let's Cook, Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on GBN Television, Channel 7 and 11, GBN's Facebook page, and GBN's YouTube channel. If you miss it, catch the repeat Thursdays at 10 a.m. and Sundays at 3:30 p.m.
The following are a list of food items to have on hand amidst COVID-19. Perishables like vegetables, fruits, provisions, and eggs. You are advised to stock perishable items to last up to 2 weeks. Non-perishable items including dry goods like cereals, flour, cornmeal, oats, rice,
Welcome back to The Point. We are opening the phone lines this morning for you, our viewers and listeners, to weigh in on anything that you'd like to share with us this morning. One of the hot topics this morning, reinstate the curfew or not. Over the weekend, we had 2 violent killings, one on Friday night in St. David and Saturday night in St. Andrew. There were a few sessions, aka fetes, as one caller puts it, reveling on Sunday, including in Bathway, parts of the south of the island. What do you think? Should we reinstate the curfew, or do you think the sins of a few should not mean repercussions for the many? Let's go back to the phone lines. Good morning.
Yes, Mr. Bassan, are you come back again?
Yes, Ms. Jacob.
I want to know why we didn't hear Brother Kenry Baptiste Saturday. I like my program, eh? I love that program, boy. Program was nice.
I'm not sure, Ms. Jacob.
Well, you will have to find out.
Okay.
Because I don't want to move that program at all.
I don't think they moved it. I haven't heard of them moving it. It probably something happened. I'm not sure, but I'll see if I can find out. So I'm not sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Find out from the here, sweetheart.
All right.
And you have a very gorgeous blessed day.
Thank you. You too, Ms. Jacob. All right. Yeah, I'm not sure. Let me see what's on the WhatsApp. No, let me check the other social media first, because when I reach on WhatsApp, nothing on YouTube, Facebook. What country is Grenada opening it up for? On Wednesday, please the Lord, we are opening for regional countries or flights originating from countries determined to be medium risk. Not low risk, medium risk and below. That's from Wednesday, God willing, and then from the first international flights from medium and low risk countries. Back to the phone line. Good morning.
Good morning, and how are you today?
I'm good. How you do?
Yeah, okay for now,
All right, go ahead.
My contribution is concerning the curfew, but the curfew have no relation with this shopping and things like that. For me, the curfew, you could leave the curfew till 12, right? Because for what is going on in Grenada right now with the COVID and these things like that, the country is not really open up for, let's say, like full productivity. So what we need people to go to sleep early, stop this drinking, and get up to get a country going with your good health and strength, and also that will control some of the late night parties and things like that. Then secondly, the shopping. This thing is discipline of people, and the law have to take its course. We have several, look, for a cutlass, from the Prime Minister, the priest, the judge, the jury, the ordinary citizens, we know what is a cutlass. And if you sharpen a cutlass, whether it's sharp or not, you know what wound it could employ against someone. Once someone go in public like a party anyway, or use a cutlass and a human being, There's not supposed to be any bail for that person. We're going for bail with maybe a knife or something, but a cutlass, once it's a cutlass, there's no bail. You cannot lose a weapon like a cutlass and a human being, not even a dog. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. Let me go to the Facebook. Citizen Rolo, I have heard the changes GBN made, and one of the programs changed has your favorite words, quotes, and quote the Constitution. I am appealing to GBN to have Citizen Rolo as a guest on one of that program, as we know it is something dear to his heart and will be a great contributor to the topic, and we'll finally get to debate the Constitution gurus about when the Constitution was debated in Parliament. Thank you very much, Facebooker. The program on the Constitution, it is not a GBN program. It is produced by Island Media, and they supply the program to us, but I am sure the producers are aware of Citizen Rolo's passion as it relates to the Constitution, and I'm not sure what their plans are for guests and who their guests will be and so on, but I would tell management to tell Island Media, or remind Island Media, that Citizen Rolo could be a good panelist. That's what I was looking for, panelist. Somebody else on Facebook says, Grenadians' problem is small-minded mentality. They don't understand individual behavior. Every Grenadian wants others to be like them and like what they like. They fail to understand pluralism, and that goes from politicians and the ordinary citizens. Another Facebooker says, people fail to realize that the word curfew could impact a country negatively. If every time something happens you lock down the country, the outside world might be forced to issue travel advisories, deeming that country is unsafe to travel. What would happen to the tourism industry we are so dependent upon? As it relates to the economic implications, maybe someone should ask the manager of the Ports Authority how much the country loses in revenue every day the country is shut down. The ball is in the court of the police to enforce the laws, but not to abuse their authority. No to the curfew. And somebody on Facebook says, as a frontline worker who saw body bags going out, the stress, guys, you have no idea. Please wear your masks. I agree with the caller. The cutlass issue needs to be dealt with differently. We need special punishment for this crime. Let me go back to the phone lines. Good morning. I didn't answer the phone. What's going on with me? Good morning.
Hi, Blossom. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm pretty fine.
Okay, go ahead.
Blossom, I already make a remark concerning they treat the market vendors like dog. But I want to make another dog that get good treatment. I was sitting down in the bus stand and I see a dog passing in a car window. And dog living in fenced area. Very few hungry dog you might see on the street. So dog living higher than a lot of us. So better should they say they're treating us like bad onion or bad potato. Because dog enjoying life. The food coming in bag, they getting vaccine, they had a vet, they have everything. Dog is like human now, you know. So careful when you're running down dog, girl. Dog enjoying life. A poodle passing in a window, he almost wait for me. And he smile. So careful when you're saying they're treating them like dog. Dog is good thing. Onion and garlic and potato when it's rotten that bad. Have a blessed day.
Thank you very much, caller. Sorry. Oh, great. The dog smile for almost wait for a Lord. My people. I love my people. Thank you very much, caller. Let me go to YouTube. Oh, great. All right, let me go to YouTube. Somebody on YouTube says, maybe my line is blocked. The curfew has nothing to do with the murders. Sin is sin. We are in a stage of godlessness where evil has overwhelmed the land. Grenada needs to turn to God. Somebody else on YouTube says, do you think USA and other international countries will allow their citizens to lose their rights as they step into Grenada? State of emergency needs to be removed. Let me go back to Facebook. Hold on, wait. Citizen Rolo has always been part of the discussions, be it that he has not always been able to come to meetings, but his contributions are instrumental. Let me read some of the WhatsApp comments. Still laughing at the dog. Somebody on WhatsApp says, we'll just like to find out what the police are doing about the big gathering on Bathway Beach every Sunday. The people partying like it's carnival when I know it's supposed to not be more than 20 people in the gathering. I am not sure. So writer, what I'm seeing here is that it's been happening every Sunday. Yesterday was the first one that I am made aware of. You see, it doesn't go no way. So yesterday was the first one that I know of. So it's been going on every Sunday? Back to normal in Bathway? Just curious. Somebody on WhatsApp. We are very double standard. We are quick to cry down the police when they do their jobs. When they don't, people have a problem. It had to take a deal of force to handle the situation in Bathway. Then people would have cried police brutality. Another WhatsApper. Man like to chop because they smelling bad, but when they go to jail, they like baby in Pampers. Somebody else on WhatsApp. Yes, bring it back. They too out of order. Seen it stop. Down killing. Stop. Yes, bring it back. They too out of order. Seen it stop. Down killing. Start. Come on. Grenada people, time to stop this killing. So I need it back. Somebody else on WhatsApp. Curfew or no curfew, the minds and the hearts of the Grenadian people remain the same. With curfew, they'll party earlier, kill earlier, as seen in cases, death in Dabo, death in St. David, when the curfew was still in place. If the minds and hearts of the people don't change, the result will be the same. I don't think reinstatement of curfew should be based solely on those factors. Another WhatsApper says, okay, wait, hold on. That's a lot, so let me take the phone call first. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Blossom.
Morning,
and to all your followers. One quick correction. The minister did not say that there are asymptomatic people walking around. He said there may be. There may be.
Okay.
He said there are.
Okay.
You're a cricket fan, from what you said this morning. And there is a rule in cricket that said that a captain should never set a field for a bad bowler. You can't set field for bad bowling, because if you bowl short on the left and you put the fieldsman down there, next time you bowl short on the off, you have to keep moving the fieldsman all around. You set a field for good bowling. The bowler is advised how to bowl. If he is not bowling well, you remove him and replace him. We cannot penalize all Grenadians because there are some lawless ones. We have to deal with the lawless ones. The regulations are there. And we're mixing up the curfew and the state of emergency. We are still under emergency regulations. The curfew is just a time period that people can move. But I think that under the state of emergency, there is still a limit on the sale of liquor and in the size of gatherings and all these things. These are not curfew related. These are related to the emergency regulations. As far as I know, the last time, before we removed the curfew, we had up to 11 o'clock. And none of these incidents or the killings took place beyond 11 o'clock. So even we had not removed the curfew, they would have still been out. And the curfew would not have prevented the gathering in Bathway either. It's the regulations that stipulate no more than 20. So let us not get lost with the curfew. It's the following of the protocols and the regulations that have been put in place under the Emergency Powers Act. Curfew doesn't have to come back. Let's enforce the different aspects of the Emergency Powers Act. Let the police do their work. The rest of us will have to be locked down. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much, caller. You have yourself a good day today as well. Let me see what is on WhatsApp. Okay. The curfew has nothing to do with the homicide committed over the weekend. It is humans who do not know how to settle their differences and decided to take it to violence by taking one life out of simple issues that can be avoided in settlements. In Bathway, I think the word we don't have any cases are getting to people's head that life is back to normal, which I don't understand, that COVID testing wasn't done in all parishes and claimed we are COVID-free. I think we should continue testing in all parishes because I think there are people who are carriers and are afraid to test, and the spreading will be back. Bring back the curfew to 9 p.m., ban the large gatherings, stiffer penalties for mask wearing, and discipline the officers who should know better at Bathway. Good morning.
Hey, Blossom, good morning.
Hi, Miss J. How you do?
Well, I just put a question on YouTube there to ask if you all blocked my line.
No.
Because since morning I just cannot get you to you.
Oh, okay.
Somebody come to ask me, what happened to you? I ain't here this morning.
Poor innocent
block me because I've been trying.
Poor innocent me.
No, I say you know. Your company.
Understood.
I can write on the Facebook page.
Okay.
So I thought that I was asking, have they blocked my line?
No, not that I know of.
They did me that before, when Joseph was there.
Okay.
Yes, man, they blocked me from the line because, you see, I'm a plain speaker. And I don't put water in my mouth to talk, and I don't say what I feel I want to say. I say what I want to say. Blossom, this question this morning, that had nothing to do with curfew or no curfew. Murders have taken place. At one time, we had 15 murders just prior to our election, right? We don't know what's taking place in the country. Grenada is spiritually dead. We need spiritual awakening in this country. We have the amount of suicide taking place in St. Patrick's. Oh, you hear some people, we have to go and look and see what's happening there. Grenada need to repent. The whole nation from top to bottom. Every single Grenadian need to go before God in repentance for the wickedness that they're doing. They have to stop it. Many people in Grenada are having dreams of what is taking place and who is doing what and who is not doing what, but they just don't want to talk. God used 2 foreign people to say what is taking place in Grenada. But Grenadians don't want to talk because they're afraid. I don't know what. But Grenada need to repent. We need to turn to God. And one person in your earlier program said that the young people need God, but they just see nothing, no example of what God can do. Because the church only open to people go there and sing and sway and call God's name, but they don't have God in their hearts. They don't have God in their thoughts. They just go in and do something. So they have no power that people can see the difference between the church and the world. So they have nothing. But I want to tell Grenadians, God is real. And if you seek him, he will be found of you. He said, if you knock, he will open. If you call, he will answer. If you seek him, you will find him. So don't depend on nobody. Depend you and God as an individual. You go before God. He is waiting for you. Wherever you walk, wherever you sit, wherever you lie, God is present with you. Talk to God. Ask him to cleanse you, forgive your sins, and let Grenada turn to God. Grenada turn to God. Because if we don't, God is angry at this nation right now.
Okay.
And people need to be praying and repenting of their sins before God destroys us.
Okay.
Have a blessed day, darling. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Jeremiah. Let me take another break, and then we're going to come back and wrap up the program. This is To The Point on Classic GBN and Hot 98. We'll be right back.
Greetings, everyone. I hope this message meets you and yours in the best of health as we join in encouraging all to act responsibly.
COVID-19 presents the most serious
and deadly challenge any of us will experience in our lifetimes.
We must act now.
We need to keep the Caribbean safe.
We can all help to stop the spread of the coronavirus. Please stay at home.
So Caribbean people, please stay home.
Caribbean people, please stay at home.
Please stay home. It's that simple. This too shall pass. But for now, stay home.
Stay in your yard. Stay home, stay safe.
published on GBN. All the stories, from politics to industrial unrest. Tourism.
Light it up. Light it up.
Station to Grenada.
Entertainment. Sports and culture.
Great shot there of Anderson Peters.
Welcome back to The Point. It's open line here on the program. The hot topic this morning, or what has been dominating the conversation this morning, reinstate the curfew or not, following two fatal chopping incidents over the weekend, as well as fetes and reveling yesterday and over the weekend as well. Let's go back to the phone lines. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I call a speed a speed. I call a speed a speed, irrespective of what the other lady says. Now, some people are saying that we are educated. I include myself. To me, I am not even educated, because I can't tell you others do wrong thing, but I still call myself I'm not educated. Some people, we talk about we spiritual. We are not looking into the Bible and thing. You could read the Bible and do not understand the Bible. Or you could interpret it and bear in mind, underline the word interpret it. Interpret don't mean that you're doing the right thing or you say you're understanding it the right way. I'm not bashing on this lady and talking about the Bible. But because the Bible name come up, I'll say the Bible. You might have 10, 20 or 30 CXC. That doesn't mean to say you're educated, because maybe you're not fit to live and fit to live with. Because even some of us, Balin, among the men, among the dashing, among the thing, and we are 30 and 40 CXC, among is only using money, or should be only using money. Even though I'm hearing a new word, the word what we're using now, easement. I'm not telling you that's wrong, but this is a word that's been coined. And everybody using the word easement, easement. I'm not telling you it's wrong, but people jump on bandwagon, and everybody saying the same thing. Eventually, when we're supposed to use number, we're using amount. When we're supposed to use quantity, we're using amount. And we don't understand, and we say we're educated in the scripture, we're mathematics, in medicine, in this and in that. And this is what I find so strange with Grenada. In fact, maybe the people who are leading are not leading the right way, because even when we look at the police, I condemn them out, and I'm a marked man. But as for me, I think I do not do anything wrong, so it doesn't bother me. When I do something wrong, then you have a right to do what you're supposed to do with me. I live within the laws of man and the laws of God. It's time that we in Grenada understand what we read or what we hear. This is the problem in Grenada. Every one of us believe we're bright. I don't know what they mean by that. A man told me everything has a young fellow. Everything has circumference. That's what, and you're arguing with me. So this should tell me about a lot of us do things. In fact, just imagine you're teaching maths. People don't have the concept. What do I mean by that? You put in, what should I say, a mechanical statement on the board. 2 + 1 is equal to 3. But if you had put it in a social situation, a child or children would be able to shift it from one situation to another. What they would do, they know 2 + 1 is 3.
Okay.
And this is what we have to do. Everything should be involved in social situations, especially maths.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Let me go back to Facebook. Excellent point made by Mr. Bernard. I will prefer the lifting of the curfew remain in place with the enforcement of the other aspects of the regulations. Somebody else on Facebook, someone's come in someone came in my mother's shop and take the phone, tell this person to... Okay. Someone came in my mother's shop and took her phone. Tell the person to bring back her phone. She has a lot of things on it. Please bring back my mother's phone, please. Okay, so somebody stole your mother's phone. In which area? Just give us an idea of where the shop is located so we would know which area to target to tell him bring it back. Somebody else on Facebook, 15 murders or 15 strange deaths. Somebody says the death, the fights, the choppings, this have the making of a gang war. Commissioner Martin, call up your men to move swiftly before this thing gets out of hand, please. Let me go to WhatsApp. There was no issue at Bathway yesterday. The police presence was there and they acknowledged nothing was wrong. Curfew won't stop crime. The media need to stop creating these controversial issues. The police said nothing was wrong. That looked like more than 20 people to me, unless I can't count. So that there alone is something wrong. So, okay, maybe it's me then. Maybe me. Because we may have asymptomatic cases, the authorities should not have announced that Grenada is COVID-free since people think now there is no need for protocol. The police need to enforce the law to everyone. Somebody else on WhatsApp says, I need the sporting organizations to wake up. Let us get young people playing more. Okay, let's see who that writer is. Morning. Somebody else on WhatsApp says, I've seen enough to be convinced that we simply do not have the discipline to self-regulate. COVID-19, the revolution, and 2013 and 2018 elections results are instances of proof that we need constant supervision and have a master-like authority over us. We're just not mature enough to handle our own affairs. Another WhatsApper asks, is the airport really closed? The airport is closed to commercial travel until Wednesday, God willing. There are cargo planes coming in. There have been chartered flights coming in, but the airport is closed to commercial travel. Another WhatsApper, what does it take for some Grenadians to take COVID serious? We have to experience death as a result, then get serious? Come on, people, let's discipline ourselves. Somebody says we need to get mature as a people. Let's think for ourselves and stop this carelessness. Stop pressuring the police. They're human and we like too much drama with or without curfew. We just have bad mentality. Somebody else on WhatsApp says, come WhatsApp. Don't do me that, man. Don't stick no WhatsApp. All right, let me go back to the phone lines while I figure out WhatsApp. Good morning.
Good morning, Blossom.
Morning.
And how are you?
I'm good.
And how was your weekend?
It was quiet.
Well, what I'm calling to see is the people of Grenada, Kirk, Wampiki, Martinique, and the whole world. They have to listen to the Almighty. When He sent out His messengers, they must learn to accept it. A messenger said to Grenada, Kirk, Wampiki, Martinique, that the country need prayers. And he said all the churches in Grenada, Kirk, Wampiki, Martinique have to get together to have a day of prayer. But what happened to some of us churches? We say we serve in God, but if we serve in the true and the living God, we're not supposed to criticize one another and say, well, I a 7 days, I a Grenada Baptist, I'm a spiritual Baptist, I'm not going. No, we all have to get together. And he said, if we didn't do that, something is in the air for Grenada, Kirk, Wampiki, Martinique. The country is in darkness and too much wickedness going ahead. So we have to stop, listen, and look back and remember we have a God above because He will have in us here. People say you don't have a God, but how we get the breath of life. So Blossom, please, I would like the Grenadian people who said we are church people and this country is a blessed country. Please, let's get together as the Lord sent out His messengers to pray together because we are one people, regardless of different denominations, everybody get together. Don't say, well, I'm going to this church and I don't want to hear this church. Every different denominations, because we say we're God people and we serve in one and true and living God. So don't despise what the messenger is saying. We Grenadians will learn to listen to messengers because they will say, oh, they always come with a false thing and they don't believe in God. Some of us. But we have to stop it. Thank you very much and continue with your good works, darling.
Thank you very much, caller. You have yourself a good day. Let me go back by Facebook. As we wrap up, let me take one on Facebook and one on WhatsApp. Facebook. I think the police should be cracking down on the parties around the island and enforcing the rule of law instead of being part of it. We have to realize that it is a virus out there and it is very much active. We've seen the rise of it in the U.S. and other countries, so we have to be mindful that we're living in perilous times. It's not life as usual as we once knew. I think the decision makers need to take a hard look into what is taking place presently and bring in the curfew, because we will fall back where we will never want to be as the U.S., as the others who are still struggling to bend the curve, to straighten the curve. And one more comment on the WhatsApp. When will the stranded nationals in the U.S. be repatriated home? Come on, they are valuable nationals too. They have to return to normal life. Please bring the people home. They are able to pay their way home. All we're asking is for government to approve the landing of the aircraft. There has been at least one flight from the U.S. I'm getting contact with the officials in the U.S. Somebody keeps calling the WhatsApp, and I keep declining the call, but they're not getting a message. No calls on the WhatsApp, please. Yes, get in touch with the officials in the U.S., Grenadian officials, the consul, and they would give you further details. There are databases available for people who need to be contacted when there is a repatriation flight. So if that's the situation, please get in contact with an official in the U.S. That's the end of my time today. Stop calling the WhatsApp, please. That's the end of my time today. Joseph is up next with Mid-Morning Buzz. Have yourselves a safe Monday. Do what you need to stay safe. Your masks, hand sanitizers, gloves if you have them. Just continue to protect yourselves and the lives of your loved ones. I'll be back with you tomorrow, God willing. Until then, be safe, everybody. Have yourselves a productive and blessed Monday. Bye-bye.